Welcome to the DefSec 2023 podcast, sponsored by our good friends at Cisco. I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Winds. I have to tell you, day one was excellent, fellas. But there was one thing about day one that jumped off the page, and that was this conversation around team vigilance. So I got two of the key players here today, and I want you to go ahead and just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about vigilance. Let's just start by telling us a little bit about yourself, Derek.
By myself? Okay, for sure. Thanks for having us. Great to be here. I'm Derek Buxton, Vice President of Business Development of Ard Marine. Been with the company about 6 years now. Prior to that, I served 11 years as a senior executive with Coast Guard on the vessel procurement side, and then 21 years as a naval officer. And so we're really pleased to be here this week and to continue our campaign, Team Vigilance campaign. Of course, folks are aware that we kicked this off at CANSEC in 2023 when we unveiled the design that we're offering in conjunction with our partners, Thales, Hedel Shipyards, Fincantieri, and SH Defence from Denmark. And today, and this week, in fact, is a continuation of that. And we recently announced our Preferred Suppliers Program. And we're really dedicated and committed to wanting to build as broad a possible coalition of Canadian companies, small and medium enterprise, indigenously owned companies, whoever has a service or a product that adds value to the program, we're all ears. We're welcoming in the discussions. We've had a couple of announcements yesterday. We brought Duke Marine in as a preferred supplier and SEA Canada as a preferred supplier. They have certainly areas of expertise and products that lend themselves well to building the Vigilance Coalition. There'll be more announcements today and in the weeks and months to come. The interest has been great.
Derek, did you have any broadcasting in your background? Because as soon as they said go, you just started, man. Yeah, unbelievable.
Just happy to be here, passionate about this subject, and so it's easy to talk to.
Thanks, Derek. And how about yourself, sir?
Good morning. Thanks again for having me. I'm Travis Dowd. I'm the Director of Strategy and Sales for Thales Canada Defence. And exactly as Derek said, I mean, there's been a huge buzz, in the weeks coming up, as well as yesterday, with the announcements of preferred suppliers, and we're excited as the CSI on the Vigilance program that we bring the right capability into Canada for Canada on this program. I'm really excited about it.
So guys, tell us a little bit about what this ship looks like, what it's capable of doing, kind of what the vision of this is. So Derek, we'll start with you on that.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a mid-sized offshore patrol vessel, which is quite a prolific type of ship around the world. Many nations, navies, coast guards, police forces use that type of a ship. 50 to 90 meters is the typical range for a mid-sized OPV, and so this is right there at about 80 meters. Which makes it a very sea-kindly vessel, and so transoceanic voyages are going to be done with ease in a safe, comfortable, and efficient manner. And so it is globally deployable. The real core of the vessel, though, is there's two things. Number one, and I'll let Travis speak more to the combat system, is a very elegant way that we plan to integrate the combat system so that we can seamlessly introduce mission payloads. And so modular mission payloads and mission modularity is a key feature around which the ship is designed. The ship itself, though, has a long legacy in terms of its parentage. At Dowd Marine, we've been designing OPVs for customers around the world for 40 years. Our first OPV was for Department of Fisheries and Oceans, the Leonard J. Cowley, still in service today, and that really springboarded us into the market sector. We've delivered OPV designs now for the UK Royal Navy, the Royal New Zealand Navy, South African Navy, US Coast Guard, and of course, most recently, the Canadian Navy's Arctic Offshore Patrol Ship. And so mission modularity and seamless integration of that, which gives the operator a tremendous amount of flexibility into the combat system that will be very expertly integrated by our friends at Thales Canada.
So mission modularity, I'm assuming interoperability, moving capability across platforms and the like. Tell me a little bit of how that all looks. That doesn't really exist right now in our arsenal. So how does that look in your mind?
Well, I would say there's going to be a base offering for the ship, which is going to be, I think, the sort of the minimum requirements that we need to meet. It's going to be packed with autonomy and the availability to automate some things, but not all things. But it has to be versatile. where the particularization comes in to sort of expand on future requirements and beyond the base requirements comes with the modularity and the integration of the modularity from CSI to platform. And I think that's where the magic's going to happen.
And the partner on the modularity side is who?
It's SH Defense from Denmark.
Right on.
And so they have their own proprietary system, which is trademarked called the Cube, and is widely becoming accepted as the gold standard around the world. It's already in Canada because they successfully competed with Kraken Robotics for the RMDS system, which will be deployed in the Royal Canadian Navy. And so really a no-brainer for us. We've worked with them internationally on a number of other programs, and so it was a very easy decision for us to invite them into the program.
So there you go. Cubes are already going to be on the jetty here soon enough, and so this is just a follow-on to that. You talked about the size of the vessel. You talked a little bit about automation there. Talk a little bit about the level of automation on the vessel, because I guess one of the challenges that everybody has is getting sailors to sail these things. So if we can reduce that crew size down and get a little bit more automated and smarter about how we do business, is that in the vision?
Yeah, absolutely. The design is centered on minimal crew, and so we can comfortably operate this vessel with a 20-person crew. And then the idea is that as the mission payloads are embarked, the personnel, the specialists needed to operate whatever that particular mission might be, whether it's a towed array sonar, or an AUV, or an underwater autonomous vehicle, they will come with the payload. And so there's a bunks for at least another 25 on board, whether that would be the mission specialist or, like a naval boarding party, for instance. And then the seamless integration into the CSI is really what enables that the CSM, I should say, combat management system is really what enables that modularity and that reduced core complement.
And of course, environmental impact, big conversation, certainly for the government if they're going to get involved in this. Talk about the environmental impact of the ship and where your vision for that might be.
Well, we obviously want this to be as green as it possibly can be within the constraints, obviously, of meeting the Navy's requirements. Our standard propulsion configuration for a vessel of its type would be geared diesel mechanical with an electrical input-output. And also the use of a battery system. And what that allows you to do is run on battery at sort of loiter speeds or low speeds or in quiet mode. But it also allows you to use the battery as a sink. And so you can run your engines at peak efficiency even if you don't need that much power to go down the shafts and to turn the propellers. That excess power is then stored in the battery and then can be used later on in a green mode. And so peak fuel efficiency, minimized emissions because the engines are operating in a sweet spot, and the ability to go on battery and run the ship independently that way as well.
Reduce crew size, mission modularity, integrating into the platform to make life easy for the sailor, to make decisions easier to make, giving them the proper information. It's got to be a great and exciting time for the integrator to be involved.
For sure it is. And Derek, you spoke earlier about the supply base and preferred suppliers. I mean, we're looking for absolutely indigenous partnerships as well. Bring small, medium businesses through, to support all of our partners. As you may know, Thales has a synergy program for small to medium business to connect in with, and that's certainly something that we want to bring in and leverage. It makes us light, makes us quick and quick to market, quick to wealth.
I tell you, there's nothing better than being stood in front of a blank canvas. You have the ability to create something. Even more exciting to be sitting with the guys that are handing out the paintbrushes. So tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in suppliers right now. So you're looking for partners to grow this program. What does that ideal partner look like for you, and how do they kind of get involved with this incredible offering?
Yeah, so we put a notice out ahead of DEFSEC that we were introducing the Preferred Suppliers Program, inviting anybody who feels they have a value proposition that can add to the program. We'll welcome those discussions, and we've had a series of those over the course of yesterday. We'll have more today, and we'll have more in the weeks and months to come. And so we're looking for any Canadian company that has a value proposition, whether it be a service on the technical side or on the program management side, or whether it be a single component all the way through to a piece of equipment or a system. And so we're very, very open-minded with regards to having those conversations. And of course, we won't be able to sort of find room for everybody, because we're also very serious about making sure that every individual contribution is substantive and meaningful. And so we don't want token participation. We want it to be substantive and meaningful. And so, anybody who has a product that fits in this space, the OPV space, the naval vessel space, the law enforcement, constabulary, all of the traditional missions that the Kingston class, is called upon to perform. Anybody has something in that space, we're happy to have a chat with.
And what's the portal to get in? How do we get involved? If there's a company out there, and there'll be many listening and saying, I need to be a part of this, what's the portal in? How do they get in?
So they can reach out directly to myself or Derek for sure. Hedl, SH Defense, any of the partners are ready to listen and take names.
Yeah, absolutely. Just reach out through LinkedIn or through email. Yeah. Happy to have a conversation. Any one of the partners. If you tend to be on the platform side, maybe Bard Marine would be the first point of contact. But if you're on the combat system side, then reach out to Thales and have that chat. If they have a piece of equipment and they want to know whether it can become Cube compliant and integrated into the Cube system, then our colleagues at SH Defense are ready to have that discussion as well.
There'd be the folks in the Navy, not only ours, but navies around the world would be listening into this. Oh, that's interesting. What would be the pitch for this type of vessel to a Navy of our size?
I think in the first instance, it's a very capable, as Travis indicated, versatility is core, right? With the mission modularity, you have that operational adaptability. And so the ability for the vessel to be configured for different missions, also to be configured with payloads while underway to reconfigure on an extended voyage. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect, I think, is affordability. Our designs, as I said, are around the world and very cost effective, not only to build, but also to operate. And so that's going to be a big selling feature to any customer, because, the cost of acquisition versus the cost of through life, if you look at total cost of ownership, the more you can drive that down, the more attractive the proposition. So yeah, the versatility. And I should also say that the design itself is a hybrid design, in that we're using commercial ship design rules where possible, commercial off-the-shelf equipment where possible. But if it needs to be leveled up for a specific mission or system, then we can add in that military spec item and adhere to those military design rules. If there's a certain thing like damage control and stability, for instance, that can be applied to the design as well. And so that makes it also a more affordable proposition through life.
Yeah, and I would also argue the experience of the teams that are coming on board here. I mean, the Thales and Vard, and whether it's Hedl and SH. I mean, there's history here. They've been in this business for a very long time, producing incredible product.
Yeah, I like to say too, we have Fincantieri, which of course is our parent company in Italy, the largest shipbuilder in Europe, and in their 230-year history, they've delivered 7,000 ships plus. And so to have them on board to assist all of us in the team, but in particular the shipyard, with their shipbuilding expertise, knowledge, skill set, tools, etc., is going to give a huge boost to this program. And so we're very confident in our ability to deliver. When we say we can deliver within a certain time frame, we're going to be able to live up to that expectation.
Guys, I love your approach, right from the welders, right on down to system integration, and even down to finding the right talent. Working with Duke, it's all Canadian all the time, and you've got this real unique lens on it, and bringing those partners on, just fantastic. I mean, this is a true Canadian offering with a very unique platform. It's unbelievable. Anything that you'd like to leave the audience with about Team Vigilance? Because again, I'll end the podcast by what I said at the beginning. It got an awful lot of buzz on day one, so the message is getting out there. If you want to further amplify that.
I think if I had to say one thing, I would just expand on what you've just said, and that is the fact that we're looking to build a coalition of Canadian companies. And we're interested in Canadian companies being involved and having a substantive role at every stage of the shipbuilding value chain. And so when we say Vigilance will be designed in Canada, built in Canada, and equipped in Canada, we're very serious about living up to that mantra.
For yourself.
And I would just say that the value has to exceed the cost, and I would say that we serve those who serve, and it's important to keep that in mind, especially reaching out to Team Vigilance about product offerings and bring this all together. But I'm really excited about this program.
You guys are to be saluted for the work that you're doing. It's absolutely incredible. Great vision, putting in a fantastic team together, and there's no doubt that this is going to be an incredible offering to Canada and beyond. Keep up the good work, guys. We look forward to having you back in a few months. Give us an update on how things are going. Team Vigilance, great program. Thanks.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you.